So it's crazy. The other day I saw Jermaine Dupri speak out on certain things when it came to the beginning of the group. And he said that it was harder to break y'all because you weren't considered cute. When you hear things like that, does that like kind of bother you? Because it kind of bothered me because I thought y'all was cute because I was trying to dress like y'all. So it's like, you know, obviously we heard the line that Biggie said, which I felt like was super disrespectful. But then for Jermaine to kind of like comment on it, did y'all feel any kind of?
I did not, honestly, I did not see the interview, but I did see like a clip floating online. I mean, somebody thought we was cute. So, you know, we dropped them albums, we went platinum each time. Somebody, you know, he must have saw something. But with that being said, with the Biggie situation, you know, that was something that did happen. You know, we don't, you know, obviously the world heard the song. The girls, they are more forgiving than I, and I feel bad to this day because the day that he passed away, we were at that party, and Biggie will apologize. I wouldn't go over there.
Yeah, so somebody came to, I don't know if it was Diddy or somebody came and said, Biggie wanted to speak to y'all. And
let's be clear, this wasn't a Diddy party. This was...
It was during the awards.
Okay, all right, let's just be clear. Go ahead, finish telling the story, Tiny.
And she was like, I ain't going over to speak to him. And I was just like, I'm going to go see what he's talking about. And, you know, he was very nice. He was very apologetic. And he basically said, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm ugly. I'm ugly. I didn't say it, you know what I'm saying? Y'all the people, but, you know, I just, you know, wanted to say, I apologize or whatever. And so I went back and I told Ken, I told her what she said, and then he ended up passing, like, probably 20, 30 minutes after that happened.
Wow. But he was definitely a fan. He came to our show in New York.
He did say that. He was coming to our shows, and when he came to our shows, Jermaine would come and say, hey, be outside, you want to come in? We were like, no, you can't come in here.
He was on the front row, though.
Because we felt some kind of way.
Right.
So even though he was showing up, he kept coming to different shows, and we just wasn't trying to hear anything or see him or basically be like, yeah, you can come in here and, you know, parlay with us. We wasn't with it.
Isn't it kind of eerie that 30 minutes before he passes away, you guys get to find out, at least some of y'all finally get a chance to have the conversation about that?
Yeah, it was a moment that I, you know, take, you know, really, you know, cherish because, you know, I got to hear it before he passed, and you know, I got to pass it on to the girls. And you know, it was great to hear him at least acknowledge that he was wrong.
Man, that's insane.
What up with it, y'all? It's Carti. Tapping back in. How y'all doing, man? You seen Xscape. Wanted it to be clear. They were never at no Diddy party, man. It was an award show. You know what I mean? It might have been where Biggie was, but it was no bad boy party. It was no Diddy party. Fluck about it here. You know what I mean? And I want to know what y'all think about all that in regards to the Diddy case, you know what I'm saying, trial creeping up and all that, your thoughts about that. But there's been people who have said, like, yo, I've been to Diddy parties that weren't on that weird-ish. Like, do y'all believe there was a difference between the typical party and then the extra out weird parties or whatever the fuck you want to call it, however you want to reference it, you know what I'm saying? What Exhibit was talking about a long ass time ago, and then Jamie Foxx speak on it as well. I can't recall, you know, because there were some cats that came out, you know, most people are steering clear of all the Diddy-ish. They don't, you know, other than Stevie J, most cats are like, yo, fuck Diddy, he's a weirdo, this, that, and the third, or sharing stories of how they knew he was a weirdo or just staying clear of the situation. But I did see one individual talking about how Diddy, and they spoke about being at parties that weren't all extra out as well. And we're saying Diddy changed the game, aside from if you believe he was on this weird-ish or whatever. I mean, the world's seen him beat his former girl, you know, that will never go away. Still crazy the way that came out when it did and everything. Like, I wonder how many people were paid off to keep that thing in the cut, and then for it to come out at that time, at that juncture, was just wild, man, you know? And these files flocked for that. But I'm just pointing out, those are two different things, and that's despicable for him to beat his girl like that. No question, plain and simple. But the other allegations are different, even though they're kind of somewhat tied in some situations with what we saw there, but not exactly. But, there's just a lot of people that feel the court of public opinion seeing that made everyone already decide that Diddy's guilty. And I'm saying all this not sticking up for Diddy. None of that, you know what I mean? But I want to know what y'all think. But back to what I was saying, there was a dude that was saying he had been to some parties and Diddy changed the game by bringing different worlds together. Hip hop to large venues for album release parties and just parties that brought in a lot of money and networked and brought a lot of individuals together that wouldn't be around each other. You know what I mean? Like dude was basically saying prior to Diddy knocking down some doors, pause, I think, man, it's like no Diddy pause. It's like anything you say, you gotta be like, man, do I gotta throw a pause or a no Diddy in there? But like he knocked down doors and blazed that trail and brought hip hop to spots where previously a lot of venues would say we don't want hip hop artists up in here. We want to steer clear of that and everything. That Diddy brought different worlds together, the fashion world and a lot of businessmen and actors and just all kinds of ish, that he changed the game. And they were basically saying as well that they thought that if they ever, if he got out and beat the cases, that he should throw, Stevie J was saying that he should throw a big party and diss everyone there for not standing with him. I don't know. But I just wanted to know what y'all think about the case, all that, as once again we hear Xscape referencing it wasn't no party like that. We know Biggie dissed them, if you don't recall, on the dreams of flunking an R&B bitch, right? And remember the Game used that in his Dreams track. Remember, I had dreams of flunking an R&B bitch like Maya. When I saw that ass on the front of that King, read an article in their magazine, she loved gangsters, she loved nasty things. So I'm in the glass house having nasty dreams. Remember that? And he even got Maya in the video. What do you say? Good girls never give it up, but anything is possible. If 50 flunked Vivica, hurdles, life obstacles, found my way through the maze, then joy turned to pain like Frankie Beverly and Maze. That track was hard, man. So crazy too. Kanye produced that and we just saw them fall out in the documentary 3-8 on the way. I keep saying it's so crazy the way the Game has just fallen off, fall from grace. Like he's a joke compared to what he was previously. But in the second verse on that Biggie Dreams track, right? And he was just going down the list, naming R&B chicks that he would want to smash, or in Xscape's situation, not smash, right? And he said, I'll put Shantae more ussy in stitches. I'll fluck RuPaul before I fluck them ugly ass Xscape bitches. Whoa, like that's a major diss. He'd rather get on that RuPaul type timing and pause then smash Xscape. That's wild, and I guess that, as you heard them talking about Jermaine Dupri, like it fucked up the marketing of Xscape and all that, man. You know what I mean? I wonder how they felt when they first heard that. That is a major diss, you know what I mean? But they said Big got at him with the apology and said that he disses himself. You remember Biggie was out there with his lyrics, like a lot of questionable actual ish, to not open back up that can of worms and unpack it once again, you know what I mean? But y'all can comment with your thoughts about some of the questionable ish Biggie has said, and the Richard Pryor ish and all that. But he did indeed, say, what do you say? Black, ugly as ever. However, I stayed Gucci down to the socks, or however it went, you know what I mean? But apparently, he apologized, and then 30 minutes later was deceased. Ain't that something, man? Tap in, comment on it all, and Xscape and all that as well. Everything we touch on in this video and on all my videos. As always, if you're new, make sure to subscribe, hit the buttons and all that good ish. But more importantly, join the discussion. That's what it's all about over here. It's tapping in and chopping it up with y'all. But speaking of Jermaine Dupri, right? So Def and all that. You see another artist that was a part of his whole movement. Bow Wow is hitting the news. You know what I'm saying? That Bow Wow is confirmed that he's with Jada Pinkett Smith's niece, Jade Pinkett. Apparently, they've been together a couple years. No one knows exactly how long they've been together, you know what I mean? But they were trying to keep it in the cut, and now it's out to the world, and he's letting the world know, you know what I mean, that at the age of 38, that he is. Nelly and Ashanti kind of inspired them in a way, or made them think about like growing up. And man, how great is it to see Nelly and Ashanti come back together or whatever. Like, it's good to see them winning in love, living life and happy and married. You know what I mean? Like, y'all remember that too. R.I.P. Irv Gotti. But there was some very disturbing things Irv Gotti said, you know what I mean, after Me Too and all that had happened, on that like Murder Inc. documentary, where he was talking about like using his position of power to kind of like lay the full court press on Ashanti and you know, make her give it up in a sense or whatever. I don't know. It was fucked up. You know, he looked like a full-blown creep. And I think, did Nelly G check him or something like that? I can't recall. But if you recall, a couple years ago when Irv was still alive, in the Murder Inc. documentary that came out, and that clip was going viral of the weird things he said and all that, Nelly and Ashanti did that performance, and people saw the chemistry or whatever. And you know what I mean? He spoke about it on a recent Bootleg Kev podcast. Like, they picked up right where they left off, fell back in love, and are married. So good for them. And for, you know, anyone out there living that lifestyle, running around knocking random ish down, males or females, you know what I'm saying? Because I know some playeristic type shorties who are on that type timing as well. You know, like, hey, if you're out there, if you're not breaking hearts, if you're just living life and doing you or whatever, that's cool, you know what I mean? But don't be committed to someone and doing them dirty. You know what I mean? Don't be out here, oh, I love you, I want to be with you, someday we're going to get married, and be doing them filthy McNasty. Like, that's just wrong, you know? Like, I don't know, comment everyone out there, you know, Nelly is 50 years old, right? He's a grown-ass man. Bow Wow, 38, almost ready to push 40. He's like, yo, I'm too old for the bull-ish or whatever. Comment the way your thoughts on marriage and stuff change in life as you aged, or if it hasn't, or whatever. But before we continue on with that, with the mention of Jade Pinkett, again, niece of Jada Pinkett, I just got to say, too, I'm happy to see Will Smith has himself a new shorty. And it's kind of wild, man, the resemblance of Jada Pinkett, you know what I mean? And what does everyone think about? But I'm just happy to see, like, Will went through so much with the red table talk, humiliation ritual, the Chris Rock slap situation, Jada Pinkett, all the Tupac stuff that she was like speaking to the news about or whatever. Just Will, it was like she was putting this man through the ringer, and then we found out they had been separated and all that. So good for Will that he got himself a new girl. And also, what does everyone think about his new project? What is it called? Based on a true story. I didn't even peep originally that it says season 1. What's that about? But there was a lot of talk about it recently when it dropped, because he was doing like an Eminem type thing on the barbershop convo intro jump off, you know what I mean, where it was like people just talking down on Will Smith. It was really something, you know what I mean? But comment your thoughts on all that, and if you're happy to see Will happy and all that as well, got himself a new girl like Jada Pinkett, you foul as fuck, man. But back to Bow Wow. He spoke about all this in this recent interview. He was on Club Shay Shay. I'm wondering, we seen Shannon Sharp step away from the NFL with these allegations, and yo, that situation is not looking good for him at all, man. You know what I mean? Like, real talk. Tap in with your thoughts about that as well. But I wonder if Club Shay Shay is gonna take a hit or what. You know what I mean? Like, Cat Williams turned that platform up to the next level, and then now, you know, it's like not looking so good. But maybe the platform will continue to push on. But, you know, Bow Wow confirms relationship with Jada Pinkett's niece. And check it out. He says, trying to keep the relationship low key. However, he did share his thoughts behind posting a photo, because that's what happened. He reposted a photo that she put out but didn't tag her in it. You know what I mean? He says she wanted to show off and show me off. I'm getting to let her get this. He didn't want to make it an issue. She looks beautiful. I look good. Pause. Bow Wow said it about himself. It's a moment. You know what I mean? So he was like, do I keep this on the low? Like, I don't know, you know? And I feel individuals on that, man. Paparazzi and all that. Like, I don't know if y'all seen all that with De Niro's now daughter who transitioned. You know what I mean? Like, I guess De Niro tried to keep the family up out of the limelight, but I don't know what it is. But check it out. He also said, I always tell people my page is for fans and it's for work. You want to see my girl, go to her page. Birthdays, you might see her. Holidays, New Year, certain things, you might see her 5-6 times out of the year on my page. And me and her, we've had these talks. I told her like this, I'm not against anything, but when I get to that point, or if I ever do get to that point, I want to make sure I'm right. That's not only commitment to you, but commitment to God. That's in regards to marriage. And he said, I don't want to just talk about it. I don't want to plan it. Let's just roll, baby. So just roll with the punches and the momentum. And, you know, if it gets there, it gets there. And then he said, I've had a blessed life. I've calmed down. I want to think that I have. God put some beautiful people in my life, and I've had a chance to come across some beautiful women. Like I said, I'm still a supporter for all my exes. I'm really, truly happy for them to move on and watch them live out their dreams and things that they always wanted to do. It could have been the things that I couldn't offer at that time. I'm genuinely happy for everybody because it seems like everybody's happy. Everybody won at the end of the day. Because you remember he used to date Erica Mena. I think she was with Safari as well. He used to date Sierra. And check out what he said about Sierra too. Remember that joint they had? Like You? That joint went so hard, man. But people, he said, I was the youngest, hottest cat in the game. She was the youngest, hottest female in the game. And at that time, we were dating. What is it? Was Bow Wow ever the youngest, hottest artist in the game? I don't think so. Like, I ain't trying to be a hater or whatever, but come on, man. But and he mentioned, like I said, Nelly and Ashanti somewhere else in the appearance and all that. But tap in with your thoughts about all that. And then last up, what do y'all think Kendrick's right-hand man, Hitta J3, is talking about here? And shout out to Hitta J3 for exposing Drake's goofy clown wannabe ussy ass fake goon top 5. Did y'all see that? That man got chased out of a restaurant. He's online bragging about bodies and everything. Then the man gets arrested and they're trying to put it out there like people put the police on him. All this dude does is reckless, goofy-ish, and that's straight facts. And that's another L for Drake to take, associating himself with such a clit down on top of the L that Kendrick put on him that he'll never be able to get up off him. Fuck all this lawsuit-ish and everything. Drake lost. Kendrick bodied him. But Hitta J3 showing Kendrick and Carti, and he says, I see dead people. What is that about? What does that mean? What is he saying there? I want to know what you think about it all once again, as well as everything else we touched on in this video. I look forward to talking to y'all in the comments. As always, it's Jay Coffee. I'll be tapping back in with the news. Stay tuned for updates. Subscribe. Much love. And I'm gone, y'all. Peace.